The ZA Tech Show is made possible by Snapdragon, the all-in-one mobile processor. To win a tablet or smartphone, visit www.zatechshow.co.za/Snapdragon. And by Sharp. Check out the amazing new Sharp Interactive LED at www.sharpinteractive.co.za.
Hello and welcome to episode 217 of the ZA Tech Show for Monday the 16th of July 2012. I just need to turn myself down a bit because I'm a little loud. It's a little overbearing in my ears. But thanks for joining us. We have two of our favorite panelists back with us tonight to speak tech, and I think because of who they are, we are going to speak a lot of consumer tech. We're probably going to get extremely diverted. There are going to be a couple of rat holes involved, but it should be quite fun. And starting on my right, his left, is Mr. Dave Greenway from Everywhere. Shop and ship, but also at the same time, you do a whole bunch of other stuff. You've got a blog and you Random Dave, and there's all of this, interesting stuff. He's a really fun character to follow on Twitter and Facebook. He posts good stuff. Mr. Dave Greenway.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And from Realtime Wine, the ZA Tech Show's favorite South African startup, Mr. Andy Hadfield. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, man. It feels like ages since I've been here. I miss you guys.
Yeah. With every shot so far, or?
No, it's been 4 weeks. It feels like longer, but I've been busy launching a startup, so I'm excused.
And how is it's what, like a week and a half, one week?
We're a week and a half in, and do you know why startups are so testy about numbers? I don't.
No. You know what? We've been So truth be told, we haven't really launched a startup. We've launched a new project inside a company that was a startup a couple of years ago. But you know what? At the same time, I don't know why people are so cagey about this kind of stuff. They should just share their info,
Well, I mean, our numbers in a week and a half are 750 registered users and about 1,200 or so downloads.
Okay.
Maybe more. I haven't checked the downloads in the last 2 days or so. Don't know. I don't know if that's good. It's hard to benchmark in the wine industry local because that's where the first version's gone to. But it feels good. There's a ton of traction. There was a ton of PR. I think I'm good at PR, just not much else.
No, look, I mean, okay, maybe to rain on your parade a little bit, but also not.
What? That I'm not good at PR?
No, but I think it's a rad project, all right. And I think you've been working on it for a sufficient enough amount of time that people want to promote it, and it's quite exciting for the market to be talking about it.
I think it's cool. I mean, it's not that unique, the whole real-time wine concept, but I think the way we've done it is quite different. The idea of consumers rating reviews it's all over the States, but we've just got a slightly different angle. It's a little bit more fun, hopefully.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why we're getting some of the traction. But it's exciting to see.
No, look, you know what? I think it's also a project that or a product that was sorely missing in the market. So that's pretty rad.
In our market, yeah. There really isn't a lot for that kind of thing.
And I think, what there is in the kind of the wine app space is not particularly polished. So you know what?
Like another stat that just shows some kind of traction is on, I think it was day 5 or day 6, we did 53 reviews in a day.
Wow, that's damn good.
And that's not just people tapping "I like it." That's people actually checking into a wine and saying, "Here's what I think about it." Go post to Facebook, post to Twitter. 53 in a day is, for week 1, I was pretty stoked.
53 new alcoholics.
Exactly.
No, 53 new wines. You know what? So I'm pretty proud when we get like triple-digit reads in a day at the moment, because we're still feeding our way out and we still got more platforms to launch Daily 5 on. But dude, 53 you were saying? 53 new pieces of content loaded by your base. That's damn good, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So well done.
Thank you. Go check it out, realtimewine.com, and available on Android. It's on Google Play. It's on Amazon. It's
iOS.
on Samsung.
iOS.
And on Apple. Correct.
Awesome.
It sings on an Apple. I must say, lesson number one for anyone wanting to do a startup in the mobile space: Android is a veritable bitch.
But can I tell you something?
It ain't cool.
Something else we've learned, right, is that you can still afford to get away with the web app type environment on a Mac because it's got a really, really good browser. The big Achilles heel of Android for us up to now has been the fact that the browser just is inconsistent and delivers a very inconsistent experience. So what you find is you can't go web apps with Android right now. In fact, I really wouldn't recommend that you do. I'd recommend you go native there first. BlackBerry, you've got to kind of go native on because
Yeah, you got no choice.
No. We are optimized for BlackBerry via the browser, and it kicks ass.
Wait, which versions of BlackBerry?
So quite far back. I'd say probably 2.5-3 million out of the 4 million odd that are in the.
So that means we've probably hit 5. As far as if you're on OS 5 and above, you probably hit just over half the base in South Africa.
Yeah, there and thereabouts.
The thing is, I think their WebKit browser only came in from OS 6 and above, so your stuff will only really start to look sort of smooth in the browser from there.
No, but we've actually optimized it for BlackBerry. So there's a completely different UI for BlackBerry because they all have the that track wheel thingy that people go. BlackBerry users can do it extremely quickly, but we're optimized for that. So it's
that thing.
Yeah. So it looks slightly different, but just Android in general. I mean, it sings on some of the modern Android devices. Once we'd made some particular device-specific tweaks, like the 1X and the S3, I think, have a particular hardware accelerator that you need to turn on when viewing a browser in the app environment. And if that's not turned on, the thing just chugs. It's terrible. We say Android 2.3 and up, but it's been an education. Hey? It has been really, really tricky to design for Android. I do not envy people.
Yeah. And I think, I kind of said to Simon, fragmentation's not that much of a big deal.
No, it is a huge deal.
It really does depend on the application. But let's not rehash that. Let's talk about some of the news this week.
Until the S3, if the S3 and the 1X operate differently and require specific device tweaks, fragmentation is a problem.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, again, depends on the application. We haven't needed to tweak all that much. There's probably a little bit of tweaking under the hood. But then again, we did spend a lot more time testing internally. So.
Till you've been failed 35 times by the Samsung South Africa store.
Oh.
Then you know what fragmentation is all about.
Just something interesting. All right, we went worldwide this week in terms of our release of the Samsung store. It took us another 4 or 5 days. So the advice was release first in South Africa, get that approved, get everything in, and then just go in and change the status of everything else to be international, and that went. I must say the Samsung store's done really, really well for us, but nonetheless, let's move on to some news.
What's be happening? I've had my my head in the sand.
Well, my 2 favorite stories, we can deal with them in either order. Dropbox made me happy this week. Very happy.
Dropbox made a significant portion of their user base very happy.
Oh, my word. Okay, and the other is the fact that Jelly Bean's here. So which one do you guys want to tackle first?
Dropbox. Because I have an interesting theory on it.
I have 108 gigabytes of storage online in the cloud. 54 of it got added for free in the past week.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dropbox. You absolutely rock.
I had a fright, man. The push notification came through on the Mac. It was like, what space upgrade? You have 106. What?
Yeah.
You're like, where am I paying for this from?
Can I tell you what the funny part is? You are using 5% of your, you are using 10% of your Dropbox just became you are using 5% of your Dropbox. Yeah. I mean, I was edging up on the point where I needed a paid for Dropbox account, and then suddenly that's when it got scary. I mean, it's like you got to buy 50 gig. You can't buy anything smaller. 50 gig. Now I've got 108. That's fantastic.
So,
I think I might actually start backing up like my entire iPhoto library or something like that straight into the cloud, because I think it makes sense.
Here's the fun thing, right? If you have like 120 meg MacBook Air, that's your entire hard drive is now a Dropbox folder. Congratulations.
I like that.
I was thinking about it, like a 64 gig MacBook Air can exist inside of Dropbox entirely. You could time machine yourself to Dropbox.
And you know what I don't like about that is that the Dropbox folder cannot become your documents folder. Yeah. And every app.
Why not?
No. Your actual Mac documents folder, the system set documents folder.
Yeah, so what you do is you just dump your Dropbox folder inside your documents folder and you're done.
Yeah, I know.
And then what you do,
But
and
then
what you do
this
is like
double
super
folder
smart.
hierarchy.
No,
and
you don't.
All
No,
the
you
apps
don't.
will
No.
open default into documents, and then you got to like click out and go to Dropbox, and it's just slightly irritating.
Okay,
It
so
would
the apps
be awesome
firstly
otherwise.
remember the last known location of when you open stuff up, generally in my experience. The other two things that's extremely smart is, so what you do on a Mac is you hold the Alt key down. It's either the Alt key or the Control key. If it doesn't work with the Alt key, just hold the Control key down instead while launching iPhoto or iTunes. And what it does is it pops up a little message to say, would you like to select a new library, or would you like to specify a different library or create a new library? So the nice thing with that is you take your whole iPhoto library, you move it into Dropbox, you wait 6 years for it to sync because you're in South Africa. And
8 months, baby.
like literally,
I can do 100 gigs in 8 months.
it's mad. It's mad. So on the next trip I do to the States, I'll probably be doing this. The same with my iTunes folder. And then you hold down that Alt key and you just tell it to open that library instead of the other library. So the nice thing with that is you can very easily manage multiple iTunes libraries, multiple iPhoto libraries using this little tweak. I used it for a really, really long time on my MacBook Air when I only had 228 gig of space. So that's kind of fun. And using that, it'll remember what the last known location is. So when you hold down the Alt key and you say, my iPhoto library's here, and every subsequent time until you hold down the Alt or Control key, I forget which one it is, I think it's the Alt key, it'll open up that library. So then you can be opening a library that's not exists in the cloud. I suppose it does, but it's just pretty much backed up and replicated into the cloud, which is kind of handy.
So here's maybe an interesting take on it. And I wonder if by doubling storage capacity, they might have lost the bottom half of their market. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it's good to lose the bottom half of your market.
Quickly question, when they doubled that, did they double the free account size too?
No, they didn't. The free stuff...
Andy says yes,
No, they do.
They
Dave
didn't.
says no.
I can tell you now because mine never doubled.
Okay, well, mine.
Still on free.
Okay, no, hang on. No,
They
maybe
might
they
have,
didn't.
They might have doubled the...
But-
So no, what happened was a few months ago, they doubled all of the space that you got for giving out
Yes.
references. That was a few months ago. So the standard free user got 500 meg, and they retroactively did this for everyone as well. You got 500 megs for each user instead of 250
That you had invited.
that you had invited already and that you will invite in the future. And paid members, instead of getting 500 megs, started getting 1 gig per user.
Yeah.
Oh, and they also started doing that whole thing where you like, if you push your photos in, you get like a free 5 gigs. So
Yes.
it's like it
Stop
just
ruining my
starts
pick of the week.
So here's my theory. I was a Dropbox Pro user, and I downgraded today because I realized that I've
Did
got...
they give you money back?
No, they don't give
Why
you
did
money
you
back.
downgrade?
My subscription
it
had expired.
Okay, all right. Okay,
In fact,
that's-
they tried to pull my
that's
credit
fine.
card, and they were like, "Oh, it's an old credit card. Please tell us."
I
a
love it
new
when
one."
that happens. Thank you, banks, for like trying to overcharge me with like tons of new card fees. It's nice. It's like, oh, I didn't remember I had like 120 rand a month to that stupid service.
Yeah.
Yay.
So here's what I did. I downgraded because I realized that you're right, Dave. You get 2 gigs free, but then it is so easy to get up. And because I've been using this for some of the consulting clients, I've been inviting people inside corporates and getting that 500 megs each time.
It's
So
capped,
I now
it's
have
capped at 16 gig,
at
the
16.
invites, yeah.
Yeah, so you can get 16 gigs free if you've done all the referral stuff and maxed out your invites. okay?
Basically being a gigantic like Dropbox
Slag.
hoe.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
completely. I've got
I
10 because
prefer
I'm only
Pimp.
half a Dropbox hoe.
You know, guys,
No, I
here's your
prefer
free
Dropbox
Dropbox code on your business card. All right, you might be a bit compulsive, right?
Yeah.
So I've
be
got
good.
10 gigs of Dropbox. I'm using 7, and I'm using it fairly lavishly. So I could trim down if I needed to.
Okay.
So my need for a pro account is not there anymore.
All
So I
right.
just decided not to put in my new credit card. It's not because I don't like Dropbox, but I can now survive on their free version. So I wonder
Okay.
if they've lost the bottom half of their market.
I don't know so much because I think that, you know what, it was a very smart move for them to get to a certain level of market penetration and for
They
people
did
to
it
start
because of Google Drive.
people start trusting the concept that is Dropbox
Yep.
and the concept that is cloud-based storage and all of that kind of stuff. I don't think it's that difficult for people to pay for it anymore. It's not that much of a leap. You know, when I started using Dropbox, it was quite a leap. It was like, it was the same when I started using Gmail. I'm like, but this is a free service. Why should I pay for extra space? After a while, you go, hell, I mean, Why not? Okay. I think at the same time, the one major benefit of Dropbox, and the reason I keep on using Dropbox, is because of its multi-client support. It's like anything I have that is a screen or some form of operating system somehow magically speaks to Dropbox, which is extremely rare. There are apps that speak to it. It's just absolutely
that's
fantastic.
Also the sort of people that we are. Every other week you've got a new phone, and you're just like, Dropbox, all my files are still there.
Switching to the Retina that I'm using at the moment, it took like 20 minutes because I remapped my mail account. I pointed my calendar and contacts out at the
Google server.
No, iCloud. I've actually switched to iCloud. Way smoother. Way smoother. Not funny
wasn't
stuff.
wasn't
for sure. But you see, the same story. And then hooked up my Dropbox account. Best part of hooking up my Dropbox account was I went sign into Dropbox, pause, exit out of it, copied everything across. All right. No. Well,
essentially, you're seeding it with a USB stick.
Yeah, and then reopen it, and it took like 10-15 minutes tops for it to figure its stuff out, and it was like indexed, done, sorted. So really powerful piece of tech. And the nice thing is I don't need to change anything else in my ecosystem. My iPhone knows where it is, my iPad knows where it is, my Galaxy knows where it is, my Nexus knows where it is. 4 or 5 different tablets I'm using at the moment know exactly where my Dropbox is. It's really the best tech right now.
So now here's one more thought on Dropbox, and I wonder, didn't they have a $200 million or $1 billion offer from Google at one stage, or Microsoft?
It was no. Apparently, they rebuffed Apple.
Was it Apple?
They told Steve Jobs to jump.
Okay, so maybe that was a bad idea.
No, I think it was the best move.
Okay, but hear me out. Here's why I'm saying so. Not only are companies like Google going into the space, and Apple will go into the space.
Well, they already are with iCloud. You can get.
It's extremely expensive, though.
No, true, but they did get in there. So you get, I think, 5 gig free with iCloud. And then you can pay for 25 or 20,
25.
I think it's like 20 or 50 or something like that. They only have like 2 paid plans.
Yeah.
Google was the one who disrupted the pricing earlier this year.
They did 100 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but have you guys heard of Space Monkey?
No, but I think it sounds rad.
Check that industrial.
I don't care. I want one.
So much
you had me at Space Monkey.
Yes, indeed.
So now Space Monkey.
What is it? We don't know yet, but we're calling it Space Monkey. Okay, here's my money.
Best Kickstarter ever.
So Space Monkey won the 2012 launch conference, which is the Calacanis, the follow-on from TechCrunch 50.
Yeah.
And I stand corrected on this, but from what I understand, it does BitTorrent cloud backup. You connect it to your wireless router, and then, like the thing Simon was explaining, where you have that other thing which you put at your mate's house, and then it backs up. It does the same thing,
but using BitTorrent.
See,
that's kind of smart.
And then it restores files on the fly, and it generates files on the fly as well, I suppose.
I like it.
You know what? Very cool.
Only problem once again is a lot of ISPs, specifically in South Africa, still
BitTorrent
shape the hell out of BitTorrent ports.
They're getting around it in the States. They must, because the States would shape it more because the bandwidth hungry customers there. Oh yeah. Jeez, man, haven't you heard the AT&T stories?
But their problems
capped after a gig.
Yeah, but their problems there aren't so much BitTorrent as they are things like Netflix. You unlimited HD like Retina display iPads cranking out full high def movies over Netflix on a 4G connection. That's what's cranking the networks up there. Different problems, once you have these kind of services, it's all about how much bandwidth you can pipe down, and then once you have the bandwidth, it's all about how much people are using it. So
sure,
$10 a month for a terabyte. That's Space Monkey.
Oh, me want.
That's good, eh?
Yeah.
And they'll send me the device?
I think so.
And it's called a Space Monkey, Brett.
Yes, no, for sure.
Not sure what the device costs.
To quote you, you had me at Space Monkey.
More space.
I want to start a company called Sea Monkey, and then you're going to put like the drive in the sea,
in the water.
It'd be amazing.
Anyway, so I think Dropbox has its work cut out for it. I'm not saying it's not a crappy company. It's an amazing company. Their use of direct marketing and referral marketing is probably some of the best I've ever seen.
They make you screw your friends over harder than any other
completely.
I've never seen more posts on Facebook and Twitter of, Dropbox helped me do this. It's my favorite.
Click here.
I'm guilty of it, for God's sake. Like, if I screw someone over with Dropbox and I get the extra 500 megs, I'm the happiest human being for a week.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
Okay, so we were talking about a rare piece of hardware there. Let's talk about another rad piece of hardware and one of our sponsors. We're very proud to have Sharp Interactive Displays as a sponsor of the ZA Tech Show. And thankfully, they have a product that we really don't mind endorsing because it's damn awesome. The Sharp Interactive Display. I don't know if you guys have played with it at all. I had a chance to play with it last week again, and we have one at our studio, and it's just absolutely cool. You're talking about a really, really big LED backlit display that is also a computer, that is also a touch sensitive whiteboard type thing, and you have the ability to draw ideas on it, annotate stuff. You can, because it's a whole PC, you've got the ability to do video conferencing with it. Anything you can do with a normal PC, but then at the same time, you have these markers that you can write straight on the screen, print them out, email them, drop them into PDFs, all kinds of really cool things.
Skype your mates and draw funny faces on them.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really rare device. You should really, really check it out. And go to sharpinteractive.co.za if you want to hear more about it. They're giving a couple of Aquos LED TVs away also. So if you go to the website, check it out over there, and you can get some more detail on that. But
have I told you my anecdotal stat about they did a corporate study that shows that productivity increases by 40% if you run dual monitors?
Oh, yeah. Hugely.
Depending on what you're running on your dual monitor.
Sure. No, but here you're talking about a monitor that's obviously going to be placed in a boardroom or some kind of environment like that for a whole bunch of people to use. We're finding the one thing that's lacking in a huge way at the moment is we'd like to draw on stuff while we're having meetings, but we're constantly taking photos with our iPhones or whatever the case is, and you're running out of paper and whatever. This solves this in a really, really big way. Plus, it allows for the integration of the tech to be there. So
I can see a future when we're sitting with two 42-inch LEDs in front of us as workstations, especially when they become touch.
No, sure. Hell yes. It's going to depend on resolution and stuff like that, but it's not that far off. But thank you very much to Sharp for sponsoring the ZX Tech Show. We really appreciate the support, and you're awesome. Okay, so moving right on to something I wanted to chat about briefly. And I'm going to say something totally controversial because I've been playing with a MacBook Pro Retina for about a week now, and I'm going to say don't buy the 15-inch MacBook Pro Retina. And it's not because of the hardware. It's not because of the hardware.
Can I guess why?
Go, shoot.
Because most current apps and programs look stupid on it.
Okay, yeah, they look like ass is what I'm going to tell you. Twitter itself looks fuzzy and nasty, all right? It's just, it's weird. Anything Apple had a hand in on this machine runs absolutely beautifully and so ridiculously crisp. And you're constantly torn between these worlds of, wow, look at how awesome the Finder looks, look at how awesome web pages render. The strange thing is, web pages also, some of them absolutely fantastic, others not. All right, when the pictures aren't of a high enough quality and you need to zoom the pages up, man, do they get blocky and pixelated and ugly. So yeah, I'm going to say the hardware is phenomenal. I really love the fact that I've got two Thunderbolt ports. So I've got a choice of which I'm going to plug my display into, like that. Love the addition of the HDMI. That is really, really rad, because now I've got one cable going between this and my big ass LED. Two USB 3s. Kind of still a bit confused about the the MagSafe change. That's kind of strange for me, but
they changed it only because they needed it to be thinner.
It's like
but they also changed it for the Air now as well, because they literally just needed a thinner MagSafe adapter.
Yeah, so
that's it.
Nonetheless, okay, but a little bit, I don't know why it's needed here, but and I have two monitors plugged. Strangely enough, the built-in resolution on the Pro is higher than the gigantic 27-inch 20. Yeah, I think it's a 27-inch monitor I have on my desk.
Yeah,
it's just
isn't it bigger than the 46-inch LCD I have at home?
Yeah,
I mean, the
'cause it's more-
resolution
well,
is
It's
just
1920 by 106.
1080, yeah.
But this
is
is
high
20.
def.
This is
Yeah.
2880 by
Exactly.
plenty. I don't know.
Too many pixels, man.
But you know what?
I'm saying, okay, get off my lawn. I don't need that many pixels.
Dude, that's more than my 27
totally-
inch iMac.
okay, you know
at
what?
work.
It's taken me a week to start absolutely loving the applications that have gone to the trouble of recoding for this resolution. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful piece of hardware. It's light. It's super functional. It's got crazy battery life. It's fast. Yes, it doesn't have an optical port. I don't care. But, all right, for once, I'm going to say wait. Because it's horrible dealing with applications that I use on a daily basis like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, that do not support this resolution. So,
It's the daily
Here you go.
stuff that's going to
do not buy it. Wait 6 months. It's a great excuse to wait for the 13-inch because that's where the love's going to be, I think. The 13-inch is going to be hot.
And they have to bring it out before the back to school rush.
Yeah, I think so. Else they're going to miss out on a lot.
That's
yeah,
Apple's bread and butter. That's where they sell like something stupid like 5 million Macs, and they sell something like, sorry, I think it's 500,000 Macs a week or something in the back to school rush in the States. It's dumb. Like it's obscene.
Yeah. So while I feel bad to say don't buy it because it's no failing.
Oh,
of
go play
Apple's.
with one. Go
Yeah,
see it.
Totally.
Go
and like
touch
it's
one and
gorgeous
see what you're going to buy
yeah.
in like 2 years' time, or like when it's like.
Or a year.
Seriously,
Even
well done,
within a
Apple. I'd
year
say
when
don't
it's
buy
perfect.
any other Mac.
Yeah.
Wait 6 months because the display is amazing.
Wait a year to a year and a half, and the 30K top option will cost 20K.
Yeah.
And then I think 30K is still too much for a
Oh,
computer.
you mean before you've put in more RAM?
Before you've put in more RAM.
Yeah.
So 31, 32, whatever it is. And,
Yeah.
and what kind of SSD does that come with?
512. You
Okay,
can go
that's fine.
You can go 768
Yeah, it's a bit too much.
for funsies.
Not with tablets.
It's 768
at $4,000.
for no, it's killer. It's overkill. I'm sorry. That's like you're showing off. You're showboating with 768.
It just means you've got too much music that you don't listen to.
No,
basically.
you are
porn.
0.5%
there's-
of the 2% of the population that this machine
There
appeals
is
to.
no reason whatsoever that you need a 768 gig.
No, there is. If you're
Yes,
into video editing, totally, I can believe that.
You can buy a solid-state Thunderbolt
Yeah, I
drive
suppose.
that you can use as a scratch disk for video editing, and
but
it'll be
but
faster.
not so much on the road, not so much on a plane. But you know, it's like I say, very small percentage
Yeah,
of people.
if
Everyone
you-
else is showboating though.
If you want that, we did actually quote a special order 768 16 gig, top spec, even a bumped up 2.7 gigahertz processor,
40 plenty granders.
42,000 South African rands.
Bam,
Man,
bam.
you could feed a village for that.
Yeah, you literally could.
A medium-sized village, not even a small village.
No,
So, guys, one thing I realized that we didn't actually get to, and I introduced it just now, was a Jelly Bean upgrade.
Jelly Bean.
And
Finally got
so
pushed.
You
it's
mean
circling.
upgrade or like frantic bug fix?
Not frantic bug fix.
No,
And I keep saying-
ICS was good.
ICS was good. It
ICS
just,
was
in
good.
my opinion, very functional. Not quite as pretty as what I wanted to be. Jelly Bean brings all of that prettiness and a whole bunch of functionality to the mix. It started rolling out past couple of days for Galaxy Nexus, and I don't know, anywhere between like tomorrow and a couple of months on the other vendors. Samsung has been talking about it coming to the S3. Nothing firm yet. What I find interesting in all of this is the fact that Google, don't have it on their own handsets yet, which is
They're
so
just
strange.
They pushed ICS out last week to the
no,
Razer.
not yet.
Oh, they
It's not
haven't. No,
available
sorry,
on the
that's
Razer.
right. They
It's
haven't.
coming to the Razer.
Sorry, they've seeded it to the networks already.
So,
So
apparently
it's-
there's a handful of people that are randomly being selected, and it's
Yeah.
like you can't get on the list because there isn't a list. It's like, oh look, here's a Razer user, and they make that person eligible for the upgrade. They're busy testing through that at the moment, but it's like now you're officially a generation behind with your own hardware, guys. Come on, it's like it's not okay.
Although
It's
that
really
being
not
that
okay.
being said, they did finally bring out the Razer Max to South Africa, which I've loved ever since a year ago when they brought it out in the States.
Sure, it's like the big Razer.
Yeah, it's a fat Razer. So no, we're not happy with 7.1 mils. We'll make it 8.9. It's
Yes.
not fat, and then we'll just
We'll
inject
market it,
battery
yeah,
in there.
yeah.
It's got 3,300 milliamp hour battery. That's more than 2 iPhones.
And I must say, all of that stuff really does make a difference because I noticed that with the S3, much bigger,
Bigger battery.
huge difference in terms of
It's massive.
in
That's-
terms of the number of usable hours.
It's
I find
now
it really, really
it's now gone from a fight to have, we have the thinnest smartphone. I don't give a crap anymore, to be quite honest. Like, if it's less than a centimeter thick, and you can, like, if you can shrink everything down to half a centimeter, then give me a 1 centimeter thick phone and fill the rest with battery.
Sure.
Give me, like, give me 30 hours of usage. Let me play looping video, like watch an entire HD video on a flight down to Cape Town and still get a full day of, like, massive productivity of Twitter updating every 30 seconds. Like, give me a phone that works.
Yeah,
for
for
God's
sure.
sakes. I don't really care about anything. Like, if it's that thick or that thick, I'm not really that.
So now, did you guys see that article about the Galaxy S3 cementing Samsung's lead in the smartphone race?
You know,
I don't know if
no. I'll tell you my
50 million versus 30.5 million
okay
in the
so-
second quarter. That's sizable.
Wait, no. So Apple makes still 3 phones, right? It's the 3GS, the 4, and the 4S.
Yeah.
Okay. Samsung makes a phone with every possible size that you can think of. There's the Galaxy Pocket, which is like a 3-inch. There's
The Y, there's the Ace.
There's the Y, there's the
yeah.
Ace, there's the
Trust
S2
me,
is
just
still being
debug
made.
for all of them.
Exactly. There's the S3, which is 4.8. There's the Galaxy
Samsung
Note, which
has
is
a
5.
fragmentation problem.
Exactly. No. There is a screen, absolutely every single size imaginable. So when someone goes,
And your point is?
no. So someone goes, I want a phone, but the iPhone's a bit too big. Samsung has a phone. I want a phone, but the iPhone's a bit too small. Samsung has a phone. So essentially, if you don't fit into the iPhone bracket, Samsung will cover
Okay.
you in every possible way. So
Okay, so
worldwide,
it's
they have
all
more-
Samsungs.
Exactly, it's all Samsung smartphones. Especially that the Galaxy Pocket's what, $2,000? How many of those are they going to sell versus iPhones, which I think the 3GS even still in the States would probably qualify as like a $4,000 phone.
I'm using a 3GS in my car at the moment as an iPod/backup phone.
So you know my wife's almost destroyed 3 phones
great.
on the
You know,
trot.
3GS is fantastic.
Any old iPhones going around, swing them my way.
Oh yeah, because she's got such a history of looking after the handsets she has. Andy, you need to work on your lead in a little bit. Like, my wife destroys everything.
What was that about good
Can I have a
PR?
free phone? Anyway. Listen, quickly,
This is
speaking
just
about phones and speaking about tickets in phones, let's mention our second sponsor. And really, one of my favorite things that's going on in the industry at the moment, and that is Snapdragon by Qualcomm. What a killer piece of tech, all right? I, at the outset, even though I'm a technology journalist, had absolutely no idea just how much Snapdragon actually drives out there in the industry in terms of devices. And if you want to find out, head over to zatech.co.za/Snapdragon. There's a couple of bonuses here. There's a rad game to play. So what you do is you play the game, solve the riddle, solve the puzzle, and you get to enter the competition. Every single week for the next 11 weeks. The competition runs for 12 weeks, but we've already given one of these away. Snapdragon will be giving away either a smartphone or a tablet. All right, and this is where you're going to get a sense for how many different devices run it. I'm looking at Nokia devices, BlackBerry devices, HTC devices,
The 1S.
Samsung device. There's like so many different devices that all make use of the Snapdragon technology. It's really, really cool. We had a deep dive with them recently into all of the things that the chipset does, and it's very, very fascinating. It's like, apart from doing some of the normal housekeeping stuff, it does some really, really cool stuff that you had absolutely no idea happened on chip. So that's cool. Worst that could happen is you could solve the puzzle if you go to the website and find out a bit more about it. Best that could happen is you could win a smartphone or a tablet. So head over to zatech.co.za/Snapdragon, enter the competition, find out some more about the Snapdragon technology, and we thank them very, very much for being so generous with their sponsorship and with giving away some absolutely fantastic prizes using our podcast. So
And they
thanks,
have a
guys.
rad name.
Yes. I mean,
Almost as good as Space Monkey.
Close.
Did you see, by the way, the chat room put links to
SeaMonkey.
seamonkeyproject.org and seamonkey.com.
Yeah,
So your name
so
is gone.
screwed. The sea monkeys, all right? Okay, we have different size devices, all right? They have
Go to
different levels
go
of
to GoDaddy right now
amphibiousness.
and see if you can get goseamonkey.com.
GoSeaMonkey.com.
That's called being a marketer.
And if you can't get Go Sea Monkey, try GetSeaMonkey.com.
Got
I love
Sea
farmers,
Monkey.
yeah. Just got sea monkeyed. Wait, hang on. Let's change the topic entirely.
That can go wrong.
So let's keep things kind of a little bit phone-centric for 2 minutes. 2 topics I want to chuck out there. One, Cell C gets the iPhone. Very, very cool. More and more reasons to start considering Cell C right now. Package is absolutely rad.
What are the prices?
Oh, I've actually got them here. Check this out. Wait. So they actually have they're the only ones that are offering the iPhone 4 8 gig. The old iPhone 4 that they offer in the States. As far as I know, they're the only network doing that.
And why not be doing that?
Exactly.
Guys?
You can start.
Siri doesn't work here. Right?
Exactly. You can start off with you can either do phones on contracts with inclusive airtime and data and stuff. You can just buy the phone straight up, like over 24 months with them, or you can buy the phone.
These phones were still expensive.
Yeah, dude, no. Or you can have a 1 month contract.
16 gigabyte is $8,000.
It's $8,000, dude. That's what it costs from me anyway. So,
look at
but
it.
Simon was telling me these things have halved in price.
No,
that's
no
freaking
way.
expensive.
No, they halved in price from when we were bringing them in import in the first 2
Yeah.
weeks after they came out, and Oaks were paying like $17,000 for an iPhone.
If you're not looking for a brand new 4S, I'm going to give you a piece of... Just head down to your local flea market, seriously.
Do I have to wipe the bloodstains off it?
No. This is all legit stuff. It's the guys that do the repairs and stuff like that, but a lot of people trade in old phones with them and that kind of stuff. It's difficult being on prepaid and not being able to leverage that subsidy, right? So a lot of people will buy new phones and do that
Cell
kind of
C's
thing.
got these things. You can actually it's a 24-month contract for the phone only. And that you can still do their contracts. You can literally their contracts it starts out at 30 Rand a month for their contracts. You can literally go from 30 Rand a month. You get 30 minutes, 30 SMS, 30 megs of data, and then you can top on a phone there for 274. You can get the iPhone 4 8 gig. So you're going at $300 a month. You've got an iPhone, and then you can just bolt on their 3 gig data package. I think it's $600 for 3 gigs that expires after a year. So you just use data whenever you want, just eat into it.
I see a lot more typical contract customers starting to go pay as you go.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. And it's a way to get the phone paid off monthly and get the benefit of the prepaid.
They still have the prepaid ecosystem kind of thing. Cell C's done, their new pricing is very smart because you can build your own contract, you can build your own top-up, or you can just go prepaid. You can bring your phone, you can buy a phone, you can one thing Alan Not Craig has done is he's taken all the crap that he instilled when he was at Vodacom, and he's sort of broken through those barriers now that he's at Cell C.
Yeah.
So he's
Or
doing...
maybe it's stuff that he couldn't get done at Vodacom because the bureaucracy just got too big.
I suppose it's always possible, but he was there's...
Companies get too big.
Yeah, companies do.
Doesn't matter who you are. You can say do this, and it just doesn't happen.
He's got a lot of freedom now.
Cell C is a lot more agile, and they have oil money.
That does help.
Yes,
Like
indeed.
Norway.
Do they still have oil money? I mean,
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I just pulled that straight out my ass. But
No, they still have oil money.
Still have oil money.
okay. Yeah, I like it, man. Look, I had a Cell C. I bought that. What was it? 3,000 Rand for 5 gigs a month for a year when it first came out. And it was awesome because it was really well priced at that stage.
Yeah.
But the Cell C connectivity was not great, I must say. There was just it kept on bouncing to edge or just not having any signal at all. It was only in the airports where I was getting anywhere near the kind of speeds that they were advertising.
Yeah.
But if that gets better, Vodacom and MTN still do have better signal coverage.
They have better coverage, but they also have more contention because of higher user numbers.
Which means
and
more
stuff.
drop calls. You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's good and bad, and
I
Cell
hate
C
drop calls.
also got to leverage the 900 megahertz spectrum because they had so few people on it. Vodacom and MTN have too many legacy people on the 900 megahertz spectrum that they'd lose if they refarmed it for data. Cell C didn't have that problem because they had so few subscribers, so they refarm it. They turn it into you need less base towers to cover bigger area because of the frequency, and then they start saying it's a stronger frequency and all that stuff in their advertising as well. So they've done a really good job of that.
They've been pretty quiet on the advertising front
Lately,
since
Chelsea?
since Lars
left.
Yeah, but I think, you know what, I think it's...
They blew through their 200 million rand.
No.
They needed to take a little
Can I
breaksy.
tell you why I'm
They're
okay
paying
with
Alan
it? It's
that.
like, Alan really does understand that, and I'm not saying Lars didn't understand this, but I think they really had a lot of brand to build when Lars had just taken over. I think they have a fairly strong brand now.
Well, that would be because
everybody
of
knows
Lars.
who they are, indeed. But I think, you know what, it's Alan's way of doing things that he focuses very heavily on the product, getting the products 100% right. I think what's happening at the moment is the products are speaking for themselves. The products are right. The offerings are right. I think it's been a very, very short space of time where they've been very, very aggressive and dropped some really, really cool stuff into the market. I think that's going to continue, and I like the fact that everybody's having to respond. I mean, so Vodacom this weekend, of course, responded with a whole bunch of very, very rad roaming prices for Europe, specifically the UK.
Yeah.
And I mean, that for me was really, really impressive. I mean, you're talking about
It's cool, but it's a tiny market, eh?
phone calls back to
It's
South
Olympics,
Africa
so you've got a lot of
for
people
like
looking at
$5
that
a
sort of
minute,
stuff at the
dude.
moment.
£5 a
It's
minute.
good.
It's
It's
crazy.
good.
Free calls received.
It doesn't beat the kind of deals you were getting at South by Southwest, where it was free calls.
Dude, it also doesn't beat Cell C. What are they, 13 countries or something? 27 countries at the moment, 99 cents a minute.
Look at what happened to data. Data's down from $17.50
that's-
to like $5 a
That's
meg.
that's the big one, is that
You know
they
what?
changed their data.
I will start using data when I'm in the UK if this price holds. Really, at that price, I can afford to use it. But
At
at
that price, yeah.
$17.50 a meg,
At $17.50 a meg, you can't afford to download an email that's
it feels
400
like your
kilobytes.
eyes are getting
you know?
gouged a little bit, So
Yeah.
and for the couple of days you tend to be in the UK, you can pay $5 a meg. So
Not,
anyway,
not if you have an Android handset.
but I do like the fact that these prices are coming down and that everybody seems to be responding. It's cool, Viva la price war, viva! Bring
It's
it.
good for us. Let them fight.
Let the bastards play.
Hey! We don't use that kind of language on this here podcast.
Don't we?
No,
That's
never.
Anymore?
That's completely okay language.
Is that all right?
It refers to a person without a mother.
Yes, indeed.
It's used on Game of Thrones all the time.
Yeah, that makes it immediately all right.
Yeah,
Speaking
immediately.
of, there's now an MMO, yes?
Yeah, I don't know enough about it. I would expect the gaming guy to furiously Google it quickly so he can tell us. But there's a Game of Thrones MMO, which is pretty quick, considering it took 2 years or more to build Skyrim.
I don't know whether it's. I mean, it might be a pretty loose definition of an MMO. You know what? For me, I would be alright with just like 20 minutes of just slapping Joffrey in the face like over and over and over again. But
Now
I could
there
be
is an iPhone
different
game.
characters and level up on
There-
number of slaps. That would be epic.
No, there is the
Good.
most epic video on YouTube. It is the Pirates of the Caribbean music, which is essentially music to make
Dun, dun,
anything
dun,
epic.
dun,
Exactly.
dun, dun, dun,
But
dun,
Joffrey's getting slapped to it. It is phenomenal. It's the best thing you could ever wish for. It's the most epic music.
He reason to own the internet, yes.
No, there is no other reason to watch the internet. Anyway, so apparently
There's an MMO.
there. No, so
Sorry, this slipped completely under, over my
No. So
under my radar
I
scopes.
I saw something about it, and then like it was just too much of woo MMO, another one, yay! Oh, it's Game of Thrones themed.
The screenshots
Yay.
look okay.
Like the screenshots look fine. YouTube won't.
Okay,
say
but
that.
let's face it, all right.
I'm seeing the words free to play,
Yes, that I do remember reading something about
and I'm
that.
seeing browser based.
Okay, so no,
And
it's just-
Bye.
So there goes your problems with dev, because it's going to be crap. And it's not going to be that good. No, there's an actual Game of Thrones game where you take on a guy who's take on the role of a guy who's in the Night's Watch, as far as I know, and that started development even before the TV show started getting developed. They have consent from George R.R. Martin, and they consulted with him on the game, which is quite interesting. So,
While we're on the topic of games, Amazing Alex.
yes,
I haven't played it. Tell me.
Rovio.
Okay, so Rovio, it's like they
Yeah.
make Angry Birds. They could make anything from this. They could
Exactly.
make a blank screen with fart noises and
And it would sell
It would
a
sell-
million.
yeah,
I think
indeed.
those apps do sell millions anyway.
Dude.
but like
A Rovio one, no, they just have to have
That'd
a
be amazing.
bird that you push
bird
and
that
it
you
farts.
push and it
Yeah.
farts,
Yeah,
but it
done.
makes little bird farts. That would be
Exactly.
amazing. Seriously,
I'd buy it.
So Amazing Alex is pretty much. Do any of you remember the Incredible Machine? Tim.
Yes.
Yes,
Sierra, released this game.
It's on
yonks ago.
iPad and iPhone.
Yes,
Re-released, yeah,
So
very
this
cool.
is like Tim kind of a little bit reimagined. There's like scissors and the rope and the bucket and the ball and all of this kind of stuff, and you kind of need to get through this level using a whole bunch of stuff that you've got, right? Not like Cut the Rope, where you pretty much just cut the rope. This is a little bit more complex.
Don't
You've got
mock
different
Omnom.
tools.
Omnom is awesome.
No, Omnom is awesome, but what I'm saying is this is like a little bit deeper, because
This is the
there are
thinking man's Omnom.
There are multiple ways of solving every single puzzle, which I think is kind of rad. Amazing, Alex, and it's made by Rovio. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Seriously, it says so right in the title. Amazing, Alex. It's got to be amazing.
It's done.
So yeah, the guys in the office are going absolutely mad for it. It's part of their
How much?
plan to IPO. It's free, isn't it?
No,
Never. Not from
Like
Rovio.
Angry Birds. Angry Birds has still got free versions out there.
It might be free
only
first.
free
first levels.
after they
or-
started releasing subsequent versions, from what I can tell.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember downloading.
Why take a cash cow and kick it in the udder, man?
Kick it in the udder. Anyway, a disclosure: I have not played it on my own iPad. I've played it on somebody else's iPad briefly today, and I found it pretty awesome. So, yeah, it's part of their plan to IPO, which I think is kind of interesting as well. They want a certain number of users and downloads that they can monetize in order to IPO. I don't know about you guys, but I'm buying into that stock. I'm sorry. It's just
Rovio.
like, yeah,
99
totally.
cents.
Based on what? Yeah, that's what the stock's going to sell for, 99 cents. Based on what happened.
Amazing Alex apparently is.
But
But
based-
okay, no, I get it.
Based on the fact that there are absolutely infinite merchandising possibilities.
Okay,
It's-
so
no, it's
Angry Birds was their 83rd attempt. I stand corrected, plus minus 10. That's a lot of attempts before you get one hit.
Dude, and
Yeah,
what a
but
hit.
now they're in the consciousness.
Sure,
No, now
what
they're
a
in the
hit.
consciousness. Now
They're in
everyone knows who
space, dude.
Rovio
My
is.
children know what Angry Birds are. My
course.
children have little plushy Angry Birds.
And everyone in the world knew what Draw Something was, and they went from 30 million users to none in about 2 weeks.
Dude,
And Draw Something didn't make money though.
Rovio
because-
is not that company. For 2 years now, they've had ridiculous dominance.
Dude, they've just played very well off one hit. They've done the merchandising, they've released subsequent versions. That's it. I
think,
would not
you know,
buy their stock.
I
You've
don't
got to
know,
be
dude.
crazy. You'll bitch and moan about Facebook stock, but you'll buy Angry Bird stock.
Yeah, but I think Mark Zuckerberg's kind of shady. So
But he's shady evil genius, which means he's going to make lots
How
of
long
money.
did it take them to make profit though? Facebook versus like
Yeah, but it's really hard to use that as a comparison considering their scale.
oh, and Rovio has Angry Birds. Totally weird. Anyway.
Hold on, wait. Angry Birds is on Facebook.
Yes, you could play Angry Birds on Facebook.
And Facebook
Eat it,
will
Mark
tap
Zuckerberg.
30% of that ticket.
You have
I'll buy Facebook
You have
stock.
Angry
Thank you.
Birds on your Facebook.
I know, look, what they've done is amazing, but I think there is going to be such a rush on IPOs, and we are just heading into another bubble bust.
A vortex. Yeah.
It's going to
Oh
happen.
no, it's going to happen. Stuff's already like ridiculously.
These oaks don't
overpriced,
need to
overvalued,
raise
yeah.
the money that an IPO gives you. Mark Zuckerberg got $100 billion in the bank
For
now.
funsies.
For funsies and buying companies that they buy Instagram for $1 billion, and they release their own photo app like 2 weeks later that does exactly the same thing.
Because, it was already in development and we, why waste that and stuff.
Man, look,
Okay.
kudos to him for raising $100 billion, but
I know,
Rovio
he
does not
milked-
need $50 billion in their bank account to produce Angry Bird
I think
pillows.
they've got, no, I'm pretty sure they have enough money from selling stuff already to build
got
whatever
tons of money.
game that they ever need
Exactly.
to build for the rest of their entire lives. You know why they call the guy the Golden Eagle? It's fine. He's rich. He's doing well.
And they haven't IPO'd yet.
I
Yeah.
worry.
They don't need to.
There are a couple of guys that have IPO'd. Zynga IPO'd. Carbonite IPO'd.
For what?
Because they wanted to raise money. Why else would you IPO? They're an online backup solution. They're IPO'd.
They should have just got startup funding. It's way easier.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I did not say that. I did not. I love you, my shareholders. You're amazing.
I don't know, man.
I'm joking. No. We are self-funded. It's a good thing you didn't say that, Andy.
I love my investors.
Indeed. And it's way easier than IPOing. Anyway, on that note, let's do some pick of the week. Andy, did you pick something this week?
I do, but let Dave go first.
Okay,
Because
Dave's very excited.
He has these technical things and there's pricing and tech specs and all this kind of stuff. So
I picked the screen. Or I picked
let
I
the
picked
little
the
bird
internet.
fly.
Okay.
Fly, little bird.
Okay, Mr. Greenway, go.
Cool. I pick Cheat Sheet for Mac. It's
Cheat sheet.
Cheat Sheet. It's like this 700 kilobyte little app that you install on your Mac. And then no matter what application you're in, you hold down the command key for 3 seconds and it pops up a little cheat sheet of every single possible shortcut that exists in that app.
Amazeballs. Where do I find it?
www.cheat, so CHEAT, sheet, SHEET app.com
Okay.
/cheat sheet, as far as I know. It is phenomenal. Like, you're in Outlook, you hold it down, shows you all the Outlook shortcuts. You're in Excel, shows you all the Excel shortcuts. You're in Finder, shows you all the Finder shortcuts. I love it. It's fantastic.
That's very cool.
It's really cool, especially if you've got someone who's just got a Mac for the first time and they keep phoning you and irritating you about shortcuts.
So tell me how you happened upon this week. Exactly that. You found it for a client, or
I think someone was bugging me, and I have it installed on my Mac. The week that I installed it, I wasn't on ZA Tech Show, so I didn't pick it. Well, you know.
That's rad. I think, you know what, it's
really,
I keep
really
on
fun.
finding out. I've been using an Apple computer for a very, very long time. Really, I have. And every week I find rad apps. A couple of weeks ago I found a Total Finder, which is also like amazing. Yeah. All right, Quicksilver, all of these tiny little apps. Cheat Sheet, definitely on my list now. Do you have a second pick, or is that it? Of course you've got a second pick. Stupid question.
One pick. Where
Okay.
from?
Go.
If you're a Dropbox user, go to dropbox.com/getspace. It shows you all of these inane, mundane, stupid, idiotic things, like tweeting to your friends about how much you love Dropbox, and they give you free space for it. So you
Totally did that today.
You get like 250 meg here,
Dude,
and
you
another
guys are such
250 meg
Dropbox
there.
hoes.
Such
Tag slag.
proper notes. It's absolutely amazing. You get a couple of free gigs, and on the free gig thing, as far as I know, they updated the Android and the iPhone app recently. And if you do the photo uploading thing from your Android/iPhone, you can get up to an extra 3 gigs free through that again.
So you get the 3 gigs for just uploading your photo reel to
Exactly,
wow.
3 gigs of
6
your
in
photo
total,
reel.
6 in total. Just for
I don't think it's Android and iPhone if you have both ecosystems.
No, but what I'm saying is I plugged my iPhone in the other day and it was like, hey, you can get an extra 3 gigs if you, and I was like, do it. And then
that could be the.
Is that the 3
I think
gigs?
that might be the 3 gigs for you done. But you can also do it via mobile upload. So if you just put the sync to Dropbox and then it has the camera uploads folder, I think you can get another 3 that way. And then my third pick is completely against what you have in front of you. I pick the regular MacBook Pro 15-inch over the Retina MacBook Pro 15-inch, simply because of the fact that, as we did today, you can rip out the hard drive, you can rip out the MacBook Super Drive and throw it away because Apple's already proved that you don't really need one so much anymore. And then you can put in a little bracket adapter and take your old hard drive and put it in there and put an SSD in so that it's blazingly fast, and take the 750 gig drive out of there and turn it into a storage drive internally.
Is that a so what's the word I'm looking for?
Apple approved?
A non-warranty voiding move, because I know that you can switch out the hard drive and you can switch out the memory.
RAM, yeah.
But those are the only 2 field replaceable parts or user replaceable parts in the machine.
Well, the funny thing is that if you ever need to put it back, it's really simple to put back.
You're talking taking the super drive as in like the
it's
CD-ROM drive
It's
out.
a SATA port.
Okay, and then you've got 2 drives inside your Mac.
Exactly, because you get a little bracket that fits that exact space, which is a SATA adapter for a normal 2.5-inch drive. So you can pop an SSD in.
I quite like that.
It's really fun. And then
because processor-wise, you can have exactly the same processing technology as what the Retina's got. You can have the same amount of RAM. You can max that sucker out.
You can still have USB 3 port. You lose out on HDMI out, a Thunderbolt port, and
the Retina display.
And the Retina display, which, as you say, is not ready for mainstream yet.
It's the apps, though. I mean, that's the thing. You know, the point I was trying to make is it's an amazing piece of hardware. Well
but
done,
it's
Apple.
still
but
12
it's
months.
just,
It's
12
months
too
off.
soon. Yeah.
And here's the fun thing. One of my suppliers is looking into bringing a case that is literally designed for the MacBook Air SuperDrive that you remove when you do this to become a MacBook Air SuperDrive.
Fantastic. Because you know what? I do have a SuperDrive as an external, But it's like the number of times I've stopped carrying it around with me.
Exactly. You don't need to carry it around. It's for those moments where you find a piece of software that you need a disk for, just randomly. It happens every now and then.
Okay, cool. Andy, your pick.
Okay, so I have 2 picks today. Does anyone pick one thing anymore? It's just so not
I'm
cool.
picking like one thing.
Okay, awesome.
Never.
So I'm going to re-pick...
Watch me like a boss pick one thing today.
I'm going to re-pick GetGlue because they've recently done an update. And so GetGlue is the media check-in app for Android and iPhone.
IMDb launched
Foursquare
something
for
this week
TV,
that also has a whole bunch of social features that are
really?
like flying in the face of GetGlue. But anyway, sorry,
Okay,
not
well,
hijacking.
geez. I mean, IMDb has the muscle to punish GetGlue properly. But anyway, so you know what they've it's a media check-in device. So you go, I'm watching TV, or I'm thinking about a topic, or I'm going to this movie, or watching sport, whatever it might be, and you check in. And what they've got very close to with this update, if not achieved, is that serendipitous moment of checking into a TV show and seeing 1,000 other people around the world who are watching exactly that same TV show as you are, and having a conversation with them. And that's really coming through in this latest update. So I just, for funsies, checked into True Blood, and there are 901 check-ins in the last 10 minutes. So there are 1,000 people around the world watching.
And you can interrupt every single one of their watching experiences.
Exactly.
And rock
but-
spoilers. Awesome.
Rock spoilers are right. No, but they've done studies that show that I'm not going to throw out a percentage, but a huge percentage.
Make one up. Go for it.
38%. No, it's more than that.
Switch it around. 83. Let's go with 83.
A large percentage of Americans are watching TVs with iPads
Second
or
screening,
iPhones.
yeah.
Second
Oh, yeah,
screening.
I
It's
do
Well,
that
that's
all
why
the
they
time,
dropped
yeah.
every single. The Olympics already has second screen apps from BBC. I think Sky's already got theirs out there. Second screen app is becoming it's the new thing the market wants to do. You know, now that they've done all the social stuff, they want to engage literally in second screen. Because they've noticed there's a massive uptick. I know it was Audi who had added a hashtag to their Super Bowl ad this year. And apparently they saw just obscene amounts of growth around that. Just because they added it on at the end of the ad, they showed the hashtag. And that's what the conversation was centered around all of a sudden. So because you're integrating the two screens with each other, apparently you get massive conversion. And of course the ad industry went, ooh, shiny. And has jumped
As
all
they
over
do.
it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just, I think the broader philosophical debate here is that there is so much stuff that we are bombarded with every day, so much content and apps and meetings and this and emails and instant messages and tweets and all this kind of thing, that the ability to kind of block out a bunch of stuff and just have this serendipitous discovery around one topic is becoming quite important for digital product makers. It's very hard to intrude in people's consciousnesses these days. There's just too much messaging out there. And, I check into True Blood and now there's 900 people that I can chat with about that very particular episode. And I think that's pretty cool. In a way, it's similar-ish kind of thing that we're going for with wine, is that you can kind of find out that someone's drinking the same wine as you and have that same kind of chat. So anyway, GetGlue is worth checking
The
out.
spelling gets worse, though, the more wines you check into. And
Yeah,
the wines
100%.
go, yes, for
Go
sure.
on,
There
guess,
should be drunk check.
guess which Ponzi has to clean up the data.
I'm telling you, dude, seriously, OCR, that stuff. I nearly said something other than stuff. See, and you've been feeding me wine. Okay,
Anyway, so
can I
that
pick
was
something
GetGlue.
already?
No,
Go.
let
Pick
me
something
pick my
already.
second pick.
Oh,
My second
word.
I'll make it quick.
we could have the ZA.
You're not allowed to pick real
The
time.
ZA
wine,
Tech
Andy.
picture.
I'd pick Realtime One.
No, you're
I'm
not
kidding,
allowed
I'm
to.
kidding. I've punted that enough. Realtimewine.com. Now available
It's
on
interesting
Apple
if you
stores.
go if you type in one extra W and take the E out, the G out of Get Glue, you end up with wet glue. But anyway, I just noticed that right now while I was typing.
And what do you get if you go to Wet Glue?
I don't know. Dave's going to check, and if his eyes suddenly start
Camera
bleeding,
2,
trust
not on the
me,
laptop.
it's going to take a lot to make Dave's eyes bleed. What is your
Hands are
second pick, Andy? Go.
Okay. So, the other problem that we have with the modern
It's for
technology
sale.
living,
I'm
demand
sad
for
all of a sudden.
get it, along with Go See Monkey.
No, go see monkeys. Plural, damn it. It's all about the plurals.
Okay, quick. The other problem we have, being modern kind of technology people and having all this cool consumer electronics, is that we have massive music collections where we don't listen to most of it. Like, we don't listen to 90% of it. There is an update. It's a paid update, so you got to download the whole new app to an app called Groove. I don't know if you guys have ever come across it.
No.
It is probably the best music discovery app that I've come across. It links into Last.fm, so it uses all the Last.fm data.
So it scrobbles.
But it does more than Scrabble. It uses the consumption data that Last.fm has collected, and then it applies that to your musical collection, and picks stuff out, and has all the metadata as well. So while you're listening, you can tap in and see what the bands are about and what their history is, and
what's the
discography.
URL?
I don't know,
How do
but
I
just
find
Google
it?
Groove. It's Groove 2 on the App
Groove
Store.
2.
Yeah, Groove is still available, so make sure you don't buy Groove. It's Groove 2.
Groove 2 being the
So they made a better
the
app
second
and then
edition of it,
charged
yeah?
everyone
Yeah, it's
again
a
for
second
it.
issue. It's actually called Groove 2. Yeah,
Okay.
look, I suppose you can debate around charging people again. But I mean, if I just whip you through the home screen, you can see how useful this can be. It spotlights stuff so that is popular in the world and popular on your playlist at the moment, or your songs, and then it puts them together in different orders. So you'll get a groovy mix based on Jay-Z and Linkin Park as the one. So that's a genius style of thing. But then it'll do three of a kind, where it'll put three bands that go well together, and it'll play 3 songs of each, which is quite fun. Then it'll say what your favorites are. It's got all the Last.fm tags. So no longer is it tagged like rock, spelt R-O-K, because you're a G. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did. Well done.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well done.
Nailed it. But it'll say, tagged techno funk fusion, because that's how Last.fm has tagged it. So then you can browse by Last.fm tags. Then it says like Lupe Fiasco and Kanye West under the Better Together section. So it'll put those two together. And it's all absolutely automated, and it just picks out really, really cool elements of your music collection that you don't listen to enough. $3.99.
Hey, bargain.
And I think it's well worth it.
And it's available in Japanese.
But of course. Anyway, that's
Now
me.
I have to buy it.
Fantastic.
I'd be picked out.
Okay, so my pick of the week, really, really simple. I'm not picking the MacBook Retina, but what I am picking is I'm picking what has in this past week become my favorite Twitter application for macOS, and I've been playing around with Lion, so it's kind of a bit of a double. Sorry, not Lion, Mountain Lion. I've been playing around with Mountain Lion on this new machine, and I must say, very nice tweaks to Mountain Lion. That's not my pick. I want to play around with it a little bit more before I actually delve into some of the stuff that's coming up there. But there is a fantastic little application called Tweetbot.
I thought so. I was going to try and I was going to try and troll your tweet, but
Tweetbot,
Oh, well.
Tweetbot Pwns. It is this lovely, high resolution, extremely cool, like pretty much clone of the normal Twitter application for macOS, but it's just clean. It's in alpha right now, so it's free, but I've had one crash in the week I've been running it.
and you can mute people.
Yes.
It's that.
And I was
That's
about to
like
say,
the
well, that's
de
what I was
facto
about to say.
standard.
There are a whole bunch of interesting little tweaks here and there.
But now Twitter's just completely closed down its ecosystem, so they're likely to go out of business. They're just going to cut off API access. They did it to LinkedIn. They're going to cut off API access if you're not friends with them and you don't suit their business model.
Yeah, okay, but so
These oaks are going to be screwed.
you can't selectively cut off API access, dude.
They did to LinkedIn. They didn't like the way LinkedIn was using it.
Done. Yeah.
There was a huge
Yeah.
hubbub about Twitter destroying its ecosystem. Recently.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rumors.
You know what? I don't. You know what? I think that it'll be very, very difficult to prove that one Twitter client is doing something
Well,
that contravenes what we want
the
from it.
problem
Or like,
is that
we don't like you because you have a blue logo and ours is blue too. Bam, canned. I don't think you can actually do that. It's like
You do
very
that.
anti-competitive. dude.
Tweetbot's very similar to TweetDeck in terms of functionality. So they
You think?
can't.
I don't
No,
have decks.
There are rules in the terms
no,
of
no,
service.
but I'm saying in terms of a lot of their functionality is found within TweetDeck. So not necessarily that they have multiple windows or whatever, but Twitter can't really get... Well, Twitter now owns TweetDeck, so they can't really get
Yeah.
angry at any of the functionality inside of Tweetbot because it's all available through
No,
a client.
that's exactly why they can get angry. Is that there are rules in the terms of service that say if you are copying, it's similar to Apple, if you are copying functionality that already exists inside Twitter, be warned.
It's how they, but is it functionality that they...
Okay, so one thing Twitter's got to be seriously careful about, right, is backlash from the community.
Yeah, go read the press, man.
No, but no, you see, it's one of these things that I think they are way too savvy to, burn that bridge. If they burn that bridge, dude, right, people are going to be super, super, super upset, and they will turn around and they will leave Twitter. They'll start talking smack about Twitter on Twitter. I've seen stuff go horribly wrong for Twitter. I don't know.
They are on their third management team, I think, and they're under massive pressure to monetize. And by monetizing, you close down the ecosystem, and then you sweat the ecosystem for money. That's how it works.
Yeah, and I don't see why people won't pay them for use of the API, whatever the case is. I mean, that's only fair. I mean,
Tweetbot's going to be paid for at the end of the day. I mean,
it's $2.99 on
the iOS version's already paid for. So you have to pay for access to Tweetbot. If they start charging people for APIs, then it's perfectly legitimate business. Then you only get you start closing down all the guys who aren't serious and are going to make crappy versions of Twitter clients that are going to damage your brand, which is essentially what they said to LinkedIn, was that they weren't using Twitter in a way that was conducive to the way they see their brand and the way they want stuff done. So if you start charging people for APIs, you already start eliminating 90% of the fly-by-night guys that are just building something just to get it out there and maybe make a few bucks.
Totally. No, you know what? Loving
Tweetbot for the win.
Well done. Yeah, I know. Well done, guys. It's killer.
It's brave, bringing out a Twitter client after all the big Twitter clients just got bought.
Yeah, well, that's Twitter's style. They see someone doing it better than them, and they're like, nah, buy it. Done.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's very brave, because that's, that market is pretty sewn up.
Most people I know most iOS users that I know who spend a lot of time on Twitter land up using Tweetbot.
Really?
And it's mostly
I would say it's opposite. I'd say they use Twitter, the normal Twitter official application.
Strangely, it's because you can block hashtags on Tweetbot that they use it.
Yeah, I'd say that's fairly advanced user functionality. Look, you probably hang out with fairly advanced users.
I block a lot of hashtags.
If your Klout score is above 7, this app
if you've heard of Klout, this app is for you.
I mean, slight, tiny digression. Another stat which I'm going to throw out there that I stand corrected on, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
So half throw out.
5%
blame it on someone else. Who told you?
Some media.
Oh yeah, that narrows it.
Bite the hand that feeds. Why don't I?
For sure.
No, it's 5% of all Klout accounts are above 30. Klout score of 30. So 95% of all Klout accounts are below 30 in score.
Woo me.
That's low.
But I mean, I think it lends a little bit of credibility to a Klout score, because most people have 100 followers.
Dude, you got to make up your mind. Andy and I a week ago having
we
this
were
debate,
dissing
and
Klout.
you were dissing Klout.
No,
I've always been dissing Klout, but I was for one standing up for Klout. And he's like, your Klout score means nothing. It's a complete fabrication. It is based on that. Anyway.
Nah, it's the best we have. How the hell did you get a Klout score higher than me? That is offside.
Like a boss. I'm busy searching Andy Hadfield right now on Klout, just so that we can...
Jessica Leandro to get that
okay,
score
all
up
right,
there.
guys. We need to call this podcast already. So we'll talk about giving it a name just now. But thanks for joining me, guys. I really enjoyed just
fun.
hanging out and just talking. I mean,
good.
no agenda. We had like 3 topics to start with, and
don't tell them we're disorganized.
No, we have seriously. I have more bullet points here than what I do for most podcasts. So well done, you two.
Woo.
Thank you, Dave Greenway from Shop and Ship and like all over the place,
And the Tech Duel, and the Twitter, and
Random
apparently
Dave.
the Klout, because I'm owning Andy Hadfield on the Klout. Hard.
How many points higher?
7.
Okay. And Andy Hadfield, who is 7 points lower than Dave Greenway on Klout. And also the CEO, founder, and head user of Realtime Wine, consultant extraordinaire, etc.
My lofty goal of getting the world to drink more has started.
Fantastic. I like it. People should totally drink more. And
it was fun, man. Thank you.
Sure thing. And me, Brett Haggard at Bretsky on Twitter.
Say thank you to yourself,
Media.
why don't you?
Yeah, thank you, Brett. You were amazing, as usual, and modest. The most modest person you know, so well done.
Now split into two personalities. And end off by high-fiving yourself.
And you can find me at Bretsky on Twitter. If this is your first time listening to ZA Tech Show, you should really do it more often because we do it every single week. You can tune in live at zatech.co.za/live Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Central African time. It's Central African time, yes.
Okay.
And find us on iTunes. We're all
Stitcher.
over the place. I mean, just like Google us, ZA Tech Show. It's a ton of fun. That was episode 217 for Monday, the 16th of July, 2012. Thanks very much to our sponsors, Sharp Interactive and Snapdragon by Qualcomm.
Why don't you do a Calicanis and say thank them by tweeting them?
I'll tweet them now, man.
No, but like the chat room and the listeners.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. I haven't listened to Calicanis in a while. The timbre of his voice really gets on my nerves.
No, the arrogance really gets on my nerves.
Well, there's that too. I was trying to be very polite.
He has some of the best business content I've ever listened to.
No, for sure.
So I kind of got to stick through the arrogance.
So here's an idea. Andy's dead right. If you want to say thank you to these guys for sponsoring your favorite technology podcast, I'm just assuming it's your favorite technology podcast, ZA Tech Show, tweet some love at Sharp Interactive and Snapdragon. I don't know what their Twitter handles are. I'll pop them in the show notes.
You'll have to look them up.
But there we go.
Yeah, say thank you on Twitter.
Episode
That's
217.
always nice.
All done. Thanks, guys. Take care. Chat to you next week.